My name is Ina, and I am a former business coach. I'm going to tell you what happened to my title, but we're here to talk about how to decode your success for 2026. I want to tell you about the one thing that I did in 2025 that set me up perfectly to have the most successful year of my life in 2026. And it works like a domino effect. You take care of this one thing, and it works like a domino on everything else in your business and in your life. My name is Ina Coveney, and I just left the online coaching industry. And I'm going to tell you all about that in a second. Oh, I see you, Lisa. Hi. I'm not going to bring you on yet because I got many things to cover before I bring you on. But so there are things. First of all, I need to tell you, I have spent the last 6 months trying to grow on TikTok, and I just reached 1,000 followers on TikTok, and I'm very excited about it. But TikTok is very different from Instagram. And by the way, can you hear me, Elyssa, if you're there? Can you hear what I'm saying right now? Like, can you hear me from the microphone? Like, is the microphone working, or is this just for show? So anyway, I just got to 1,000 followers on TikTok. I'm very excited about it. It took me about 4 months of consistent posting to get there. But yes, thank you. So, but Instagram is very different because Instagram is your lives stay. There's a replay for the lives. On TikTok, that's not the case. On TikTok, people just turn on the live because they know it's basically like a story. It just disappears. There is no more live after you close it. Like it was, you did it and it's done. So this is very different because if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're probably watching on replay. So here's what I wanted to, first of all, cover. And I haven't gone live in a really long time. So like there are things that I really need to say, and I'm really hoping that people just tune in and watch this because things happened in 2025, things that I don't like that they happened, but they shed some light into how I was running my business for the past several years. And that's basically what I wanted to come and share with everybody. Because there is one thing that I worked on, one thing that I did that really worked legit, like a domino effect. But I wouldn't have had those realizations if really hard things hadn't happened. So it's like I'm trying to save you from the hard stuff. Let me just first tell you, my name is Ina Coveney. I am a former business coach. Not a business coach anymore, and it just sounds really weird because like that's all I've been and all I've identified with over the past 8 years. In the comments, this is the best live. Everyone needs to come and listen. I see Jersey Jim Bunny. Hi, Jeray. Hi, Perry. So I wanted to tell you a little bit of like how did my title change, first of all, because it is related to this story. What we're about to talk about is what is the one thing that you need to be changing in order to really grow in 2026. So I've been a business coach for many years. I love that work. I love online marketing. I still do online marketing to this day, but now I do it for the automotive industry. So what you see behind me is a mirror image of Auto Social Gal. That's how I'm known on TikTok now. And it's actually been really crazy. I've met so many amazing people. I've had so many doors open in front of me. And I feel like that's where our story begins, right? I was a business coach, and for many years, I did what everybody does. I did launches. I zeroed in on my expertise, and I taught that, which was how to get clients, even if you have a small audience. That's something I've always been able to do. I made 6 figures. I knew what to do to get clients for what I was doing, and I love doing it, and I love teaching it. And that was like my zone of genius, was just doing all the marketing and putting myself out there and figuring out how to change my brand and how to upgrade it and how to update it and all of that. And one day I went to a conference because a friend of mine invited me. He was hosting a conference. I didn't know that most of his network was in the automotive industry. I had no idea. On the day that I went, and I realized that I was spending 3 days away from my family to be in, like, surrounded by automotive people, I almost left. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Why did this happen? And I decided to stay. Like, I really felt like in the moment, I'm like, maybe I should just leave. My husband is at home alone with the kids, and I think it's like, I'm not doing anything here. Like, what is this? This is not online people. They don't know anything about the online world. What could they do for me, and what could I do for them? Nothing. So one owner of a dealership saw what I did, started talking to me, and his eyes just started to get really wide. He's like, you need to come and do social media for me in Texas. I'm like, okay. And I'm not the kind of person, hi Didi, just going into story mode here. I'm not the kind of person to say no to a new opportunity. That sounds exciting, right? So I'm like, sure, I'll go to your dealership in Texas and do social media for you. Like, why not? So I did that. And to this day, they're still my client, but it started this thing in my brain telling me like, hey, maybe there is something here. Maybe this is a business opportunity. Maybe this is something new to try. I wasn't expecting I was going to close down my business practice. It took me another year to close down my business coaching practice. So when I was in it, and I started coming up with Auto Social Gal and just putting out, just marketing for car dealerships for social media. Something happened, right? I just kept walking through open doors, and I ended up walking into the wrong one. And I think this is going to start the process of us really defining that single piece, that single domino that knocks all of them out, right? I think this is where that begins. And I'm going to start writing this down, because as you guys join, like, I see you there. As you guys come in, I'm going to be asking you, like, what is one thing that gets in the way of you having success in your business, right? So I want you to think about that. Usually, like, people have the most frequent objections to what gets in the way of the success of your business are time and money. Great. Everybody has that constraint. I'm going to tell you that much. It's almost like saying, I've always said this, like, if time and money are your biggest objections to growth, then it's almost like saying, well, the reason I'm not successful is because I don't have 3 arms. Nobody else does. Time and money are the biggest objections for anybody to do anything. So it's almost like it's a default. So I'm not saying they're not true, but it's like everybody's starting on that line. It's like you have, people running a race, right? And here's the finish line. There's a finish line, right? And you think you're starting back here, right? You think you're starting back here because you don't have any time or money. When in reality, nobody has time or money. So you are all starting at the same level. You're all starting really here. You think you're down here, but you're all starting here. Everybody's starting on the same line. Nobody is behind. So what is the next thing that prevents you from being successful in your business? I see Shannon. Hi, Shannon. Right? What is the next thing that keeps you from being successful in your business? That's when we start to get into the meat of it. It is too many distractions, right? Distractions. And distractions can take the form of anything. It could be that you saw a Facebook ad for a new course, and you're like, oh, I can't believe I have been putting all of my eggs into the launching basket when I should have been putting them into the YouTube basket. That's a distraction. It's something that deviates you from growing a specific plan. So distractions, there's just too much noise out there. I'm signing up for coaching programs everywhere I go, right? Distractions can get in the way. What's another thing? Toxic relationships. Toxic relationships can get in your way. How so? Well, it could be that you have a spouse that is not supportive. It could be that you have a family member who's just putting you down all the time. It could be that whoever, is helping you financially or like supports you financially, they just refuse to help you out and to help fund the next part of your business. It could be that you are in such turmoil because of the relationships in your life that you just are unable to focus on a next logical step, right? Toxic relationships could be getting in your way. What's another thing? You know what it is? I know what to do. I'm just not doing it. Why? I don't know. Right? Knowing what to do, but you're just not doing it. Why? Right? You consider yourself to be the kind of strong person who will do anything you can put your mind to. You can do anything, but you can't get over the fact that you can't do everything. Right? That you have to pick one thing. Oh, that's another thing that gets in our way. We're multi-talented. You can't figure out a niche. Picking a niche is like small potatoes. It's like leaving 75% of yourself behind, right? Elyssa says, no consistency, right? I can't stay consistent, right? Procrastination, right? I just feel like I'm always putting it off. Procrastination. Putting it off, always putting it off, always putting it off. Right? Another thing, not investing in the right thing at the right time. Like seemingly putting your money in your investment where it doesn't belong right that moment, right? But normally you don't know that until like hindsight hits you, right? Like, oh, I really shouldn't have bought the services of that social media manager. I should have taken that money and spent it on ads, right? So it's like misplaced investments. I'm going to give you another one. FOMO, fear of missing out. Somebody is promoting something and you're like, yes, that's it. That's what I need. FOMO, not wanting to miss out on that one thing, right? Okay. So what do we have so far? The obstacles that get in the way of your business. Number one, not having enough time. Number two, not having enough money. Number three, distractions. Number four, toxic relationships. You're like in mental overload from these toxic relationships. You can't focus on anything. You know what to do. You're just not doing it. You're multi-talented, so you can't really niche down. You have no consistency. Oh, I'm just not disciplined. I don't have that discipline, right? Procrastination. You know what to do, and you know that that's the right thing to do, and then yet you keep pushing it, like pushing the can, kicking the can down the road, right? Because you're focused on doing other things that you prefer to be doing, but you know they're not the ones that are moving the needle. Next, investing in the wrong thing for X, Y, or Z reason. Everybody has a different reason. Or FOMO, not wanting to miss out on whatever. So I'm going to tell you one thing. In 2025, I probably had all of these going at the same time. The thing is that I have one thing that is like, that keeps me kind of focused on one thing, I guess. But it keeps me focused on one thing for long enough that when I decide to pivot or change, I could forgive myself. Like that's what I would tell myself. My life was just basically going from Okay, I'm gonna build until everything is built, and now I have to maintain. Yeah, that's boring. Boom. Let's just tear down the city. Tear it down, because it's a lot more exciting to think of something else. New idea. And then build. I love it. I love building. This is great. It's working. It's amazing. And now I have to maintain. Okay, time for a new idea. Let's start a new podcast, right? And by the way, I'm not knocking all of the ideas that I had because they were all brilliant, right? But that was my mode. You know what this is? Not growth. This kind of felt like growth, and it kept me happy. It kept me happy. You have any idea how exciting it is for me to do this? This is the most exciting thing in my life, to build something new, to come up with a new idea and watch it happen. Can I have two? Give me two of those. I love those. But see what happens? Once we build it, and we build something amazing, and we get to a spot where it's really time to do the boring stuff, we get to the spot where it's like, okay, now that you built it, you have to manage it. You have to shift your strategy so that it can start growing, because what got you from here to here is not what's going to get you from here to here. It's just not, right? Because this is building. That's build. Okay? And this is scale. I'm writing backwards. Okay? It's two completely different activities. That's why, when I was in business coaching, I would tell everybody, like, why are you buying courses about scaling your business when you haven't grown anything? You haven't built anything. Why are you buying courses on scaling? Why? Because it's exciting, because it sounded good, because of FOMO? Because somebody just told you, hey, come hang out with me and we'll scale your business to 6 figures. It's like, have you built something that has sold anything? Then you have no business scaling, right? It's just different activities. So in my case, right, and you guys will find whatever part of the story really aligns with you, but you have built stuff. What is the point when you start to get uneasy? When you start to question, well, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Well, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought I should be making more money by now. Maybe it didn't work, because I'm hearing all these stories of all these women making $100,000 on their first launch after just being on social media for 2 weeks, right? So you start to feel like, well, if it's not working right away, then it's not working, right? What is it? What was your point? For me, it was this. It was scaling activities are boring. I don't want it, and I don't want to do it. So I would self-sabotage. Who's familiar with that term? Can I write this backwards? Backwards and not looking at it. I guess this is what writing left-handed must be like. Right? Hi, Amy. What's gone? Get me there. I need help for real. But yeah, keep on talking. Okay. So self-sabotage. That's what happens. Because I firmly believe that every single person who's watching this video has a dream. And they have a dream that their business is not going to stop here and then go back down. Hi, Amy. Okay. It's late over there. Right? This is not anybody's dream. I promise you. Our dream is build and break through, right? New page. What's our dream? To build, to scale, to break through, to never work a day in your life. That's what we want. I'll write this backwards. 7-figure. I'll put a little cloud to signify heaven. 7-figure heaven is up here. And somehow this is us. Boop, 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 boop. New idea, new idea, new idea. You know what the worst part of this trend is? Is that it's fun. Is that it keeps us happy temporarily, right? Like, it works to keep us happy. Oh my God, I've been the happiest of my life the past 8 years because of this. Because I'm happy when I'm building. Like, that's what I do. Is my zone of genius. I love it. So I keep destroying in order to build, right? So this year, I had an event happen that kind of broke me out of that. That I was like, that's not fun. It's not funny that this happened. And that is that I discovered that this little pattern that keeps me, happy and happy temporarily and keep building and keep not, all was rooted on my inability. And I'll explain why. Stick with me. It was all rooted on my inability to self-regulate. I've been working on my own self-regulation for a long time. What does self-regulation mean? I'm going to tell you my layman's terms. Okay? I'm going to tell you what that means to me. Self-regulation is to understand that this pattern that I love to find myself in comes from my emotions. It doesn't come from my logic. It doesn't come from my strategic brain. You know what my strategic brain and my logical brain want? This. I want that. But my emotions keep me here because I am constantly looking for that validation, for that hit. It's like a drug hit in your brain. I'm looking for that hit and I'm looking for that hit. And once that hit goes away, I go and I seek it again and I seek it again and I seek it again. And that is all related to your ability to self-regulate. You can't get here without learning how to do this. So that's when we start talking about the one thing that works like a domino effect in your life, in your business. The reason you're not here is not because you didn't have a good idea. You guys, there are people out there making legit 8 figures on things you would never think that anybody would buy. And it's not because they're geniuses. It's not because like it's magic. Oh, like they just got lightning in a bottle. No. It's because they figured out a way to break out of this cycle, to see their businesses as something that can really grow. I was watching, this always strikes me. I was watching TV the other day and they were doing, I think it was like a YouTube video. It got fed to me by the algorithm. And there was this guy who was in Boston, that's where I live. And he was waiting for like millionaires and billionaires and like famous people to walk through this particular building. I don't know if it's like a really fancy building in town or something, but he just like sat there waiting to find somebody famous. And he just ran up to them with a camera and said, "Hey, my name is so-and-so. It's okay if I record you. I just want you to answer, how did you make your first million?" And they would tell you how. And the way that the media and all of these things like get portrayed out there is that when you start to make money, when you start to be successful, it stays with you. You're successful and therefore, boom, it works like a springboard. You got it. You made it. But when he started talking to these people, there was one particular company that was, I think, like a watch company that does like a Fitbit, like that does like, your heart rate and, steps and all that stuff. They have an entire company about wellness based on that watch. And it blew my mind when the guy just didn't say, yeah, so we got our first round of funding and we were able to expand this way, and we got our second round of funding and we got to expand this way, and now we're a multi-billion dollar company and we're doing amazing. He didn't say that. He said that he was able to pull through even when things were not working. And he meant it. Like, they're like, we should have probably gone bankrupt by year 3. We were making no money. We were in so much debt, right? And I'm like, what kind of business owner would let their businesses get to that place without just saying, oh, chuck it, sell it to the best bidder, and let's move on and find another idea because we've been peddling this idea for 3 years and it's not working. That's not what they said. They said they stuck with it, even though things were not working. They believed in their idea so much, and they could see the market, and they could see that there was potential for this. The only problem was they needed to fix this, they needed to fix this, they needed to fix that, and keep going. You know how you do that? Not by doing this, but by being able to self-regulate yourself when those down times happen. By recognizing that there are times when you're going to be having a feeling about what you're doing, a feeling about how things are going, and that your first impulse is going to be to just quit and try something else. Try a new offer, start a new podcast, revamp your website, start a new YouTube channel, start to get into ads, create an ad, create a course, create 3 courses, create an academy. Been there on all of it, right? None of it was based on sound business strategy. It was all based on this, on my inability to self-regulate and to be able to just see an offer through. So by the end of the year, I had a whole academy with an in-person amazing podcast where I interviewed incredible people. And I was not selling any of it. And not because it wasn't selling. I wasn't selling it, right? I hear about entrepreneurs who are like, well, my stuff is not selling. Nobody's buying my stuff. I'm like, well, are you selling it? Are you talking about it all the time? Are you getting yourself on stages? Are you getting yourself to do this? Are you trying that? Are you trying this? And people are like, oh, it's too much work. It's too much work, or I don't feel like I'm there yet, or I'm too afraid, or I'm too scared. Self-regulation. You're not making decisions based on sound business advice. You're making decisions based on your inability to self-regulate your emotions. If you were able to self-regulate, you would get to this point. You would get to this point on the graph after you have built the whole thing and you start to feel uneasy about it, right? And you start to feel like, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? And instead, you tell yourself, I have built it. Let me look at the market. Let me be a smart business person and figure out what I need to do to get to the next level. What does the next level look like? What are the actions that need to be taken? Do I need to hire anybody to do that? What do I do? No, we're just jumping back down. If you fix this one thing, that is going to make it possible for you to be the person that takes your business to each level it needs to go. But for that, you got to stop believing that, well, if I'm not really passionate about it anymore, I shouldn't do it. That's self-regulation. That's not fact. That is self-regulation. Because you believed in this idea when you started it. You had fun with it when you were building it. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with this idea? There's absolutely nothing wrong with this idea. There's something wrong with you. Sorry. There's something wrong with the way that you're regulating those emotions that come in when this happens. And you're not seeing your wonderful offer that you believe so much on. You're not seeing it through. You're not giving it a chance. So on that note, Elyssa, if you're ready, I want to introduce you to somebody that has been like my secret weapon in this change, in this pivot that I just made to the automotive industry, where now I just hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, where I created a brand new course for car salespeople, where I have been able to focus on one goal at a time. And I have an entire 2026 strategy so that I can grow this. And I even know what 2026, 2027 is going to look like. Somebody that I want you to meet. Did it work?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hi. Okay, I didn't properly introduce you. I'd like for everybody to know my secret weapon. Elyssa, I say it the Spanish way. Everybody should know how to pronounce your name. Your name is Elyssa Smith.
I don't know what to say to that. You've never called me that before.
Because it looks like Alessa. So that's all I have to say. I have to say Elyssa
Alyssa,
Smith.
yeah, that's when I introduce myself. I say my name is
You say
Elyssa.
Elyssa is how you're gonna hear me say it. I'm just warning
Yes,
everybody.
which
Hi,
I love.
Elyssa.
Which I love. Hi.
Okay, so Elyssa Smith, Elyssa Smith is a
I'm not gonna get over that. You can't call me that anymore. You can't say my real name.
she's a TEDx speaker whose TEDx on YouTube has reached over, the last time I checked it, 280,000
I
views.
Yeah, I think we're getting up to 300,000. Yeah, it's kind of insane, right?
It's getting up there, right? Like, you are speaking on international stages. You are the authority on procrastination, on self regulation, on knowing how your brain works. And you have helped so many people, including me. You have helped us so much with this stupid thing that nobody tells us about because everybody's just telling us to do launches, right? And nobody's telling us that this is going to get in our way, right? So please go ahead, give yourself a fair introduction. Tell us who you are, what is it that you do, and we're going to talk about this.
We're talking about that now. It's happening now. Thank you so much, Ina. So my name is Elyssa Smith. I'm a trauma-informed executive coach, and so I help women who are executives and business owners to essentially just stop the procrastination and the perfectionism and the imposter syndrome that keep them from going up that straight trajectory. I loved that visual, Ina. That was an amazing visual. It was so good, especially that you wrote it backwards and left-handed. What was that? That was incredible.
Backward, left hand without
Yes,
looking at it.
yes, girl. Yes. So a lot of times when okay, I didn't do a full bio on myself, but you said enough things. Like I speak on this a lot, and I have studied how the brain pathways form, specifically the ones that cause us to get in our own way and to have self-sabotage and to procrastinate. So my TEDx talk, which by the way I just checked, is 302,000 views. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Oh my gosh. And you were instrumental in that. You were an incredible support during that process. But man, yeah, so it's got 302,000, am I saying that right? 302,000 views because people really relate to the title, which is Why You Procrastinate and How to Stop It for Good. Anyone who has ever been a high achiever, a perfectionist, somebody who's a go-getter, we all have hit that wall before, that procrastination, and we think it's a defect. I just actually finished working with a client in a session just now, right before I popped on here, where she came to me and she said, I just keep putting off the stuff that I know I have to do, and I think I'm going to get fired from my job. Can I tell you that I hear that so often? I'm not going to have a business. I'm not going to have income. I'm going to have to close my business because I'm procrastinating, or I am going to get fired from my career because I'm procrastinating. And so when I started doing research to figure out my TEDx talk and to really be like, what is the heart of this thing that I can identify for people? There's really a hidden layer to it because we think we just need to work harder, be better, do more. That the answer is always just double down on your effort,
Yeah,
just
just
work harder,
just
push,
push through.
push through,
Just like white knuckle
push
through up
through.
the ladder.
Yeah. And how's that going for everyone?
It's not. Right
It's
here.
not.
It's not.
It's not, man. It doesn't work. And we get told by other entrepreneurs, by coaches, by mentors, by therapists even sometimes, or certainly by, everybody around us that we're comparing ourselves to. I just need to work harder and then I can accomplish what her business has done. I just need to work harder and then, I'll be able to get on the stages that, that person has been on. There's an element of hard work to all of this. But that's not what gets us through, because all the hard work just ends up in that like you just end up, the second that something goes wrong, we blame ourselves and we get into this self-doubt cycle. We knock ourselves back down and then you're starting again. So there is an element to this that is not obvious to the outside objective observer, right? Because if you've been told your whole life, you just need to work harder. You just don't be lazy. That was another thing. Oh gosh, this client that I've just been working with, she's like, I don't know, I was lazy the whole weekend. I didn't get any work done. I was like, okay, tell me what you did the previous 5 days. And she's like, well, I met with this person. I traveled out of town for this. I did this. I did this. And I was like, okay, I just counted 9 meetings outside of the office, in addition to your 40-hour work week, in addition to you meeting with 3 mentees. And you were mad at yourself that you didn't want to work on Saturday on the rest of your workload. I'm like,
I have to
we,
tell you, like, even that language triggers me, and that's only because of like the work that I have done with you has helped me understand that whatever my body is asking me for at the moment, right? Like there's a reason for that, right? Like there's a reason why I chose to, you know what, stay in bed as long as I could on Saturday morning. And the moment I tell myself, oh, actually don't do that anymore. Like to tell myself, oh, I just totally wasted my morning. It's like, I don't even do that anymore. It's like, no, clearly I needed it. So you know what I think? Like when I'm in it and I think like, well, should I get up? I listen to my body and I go like, no, my body really wants to stay. I'm like, okay, then soak it all in because this will be over at some point and I will get up and do what I need to do. But right now, if this is what I want to do, I'm not gonna soil it and muddy it by feeling guilty about it. I'm
Mhm.
going to enjoy it and actually get that refreshing, like calm that I need out of it, right? Because if you add guilt to it, then you didn't enjoy it, and it still like didn't cause the effect that you needed. It's just like that kind of language that we keep telling ourselves is just not it. To me, it's all part of this self-regulation situation, right?
Yes.
It's understanding ourselves better, our bodies, our needs, and our minds better. um so I'm sorry, I totally interrupted you to like double down on what you were saying,
I
but
love that. No, because that's not where you started, and that's not where I started. We didn't start off by being like, "Oh, I just must need a little extra rest and I can stay in bed." No, it's like terrifying. It's scary. It feels like gross. It feels yuck. It feels like I'm a bad person. I am, it is a self-worth issue for those of us who find our worth in productivity. It is a self-worth problem when we find ourselves being what we perceive as unproductive or not productive enough. And that's where this self-fulfilling prophecy continues. Because when you are hard on yourself, it's a threat to your nervous system. These thoughts, that pain that we are causing our own selves, because you would never talk that harshly to someone else. Get out of bed, you lazy bum. Well, you haven't even done anything. What did you do to deserve a break today? I don't talk to anybody. Why was I talking to myself like that before I started doing this work? So
mm-hmm.
we learn it though in childhood and we come by it very honestly. And it's from decades of experience that says, I need what I need. And in order to get those needs met, I better be the hardest worker in the room. That got reinforced somewhere. Those messages came from somebody and it was for a good reason. And those parts of us are protector parts that came out to help us survive our childhoods and our growing up years as best as possible. But now, when you go around feeling like a pile of garbage for not doing what you had in your planner and you time blocked, but then you got to your time block and you found that like, oh look, pile of laundry that I need to fold. And you're like, I was supposed to create that, last part of the course, but I decided to go and do this instead. And now I'm a bad person. When that's happening, your body, your nervous system is trying to tell you something. And so what I love to do in what I get to do now that I've studied all this and actually figured out that there are ways out of this is the stuff that you and I did together, the stuff that I've been doing with other people, the stuff I talk about in my TEDx talk, which is you can actually rewire those individual neural pathways. You can actually wake up on a Saturday without an ounce of guilt and stay as long as you want in that bed and then just rehash your day and decide what works for you. You can build something, stick with it, troubleshoot it, enjoy yourself, not feel heavy when you know you have to do your next step towards your success goal, not feel like defeated before you even start and overwhelmed at this big pile of decisions you have to make in order to get to that next launch. You don't have to feel all those things and have it slow you down. But
Yeah.
we don't naturally have those things available to us, the skills that we need to get through that.
So I'm a very practical person. And I'm gonna tell you from the beginning, from day one of my business, I'm like, I'm not woo, right? I'm not woo. I'm not like, spirituality is something I have grown into. It's not something that came with me on day one. I'm like crystals and oils, like I'm like practical. I'm like, give me the 1, 2, 3, give me the strategy, give me the thing. And when I first started to do this work, right? Like realizing that, wow, this is something that I really need, is because I identified a big problem in myself that I felt like needed to be addressed. And for me, it started with feeling emotions very deeply. Like I just want to tell everyone like how I started to go from like, hey, just give me the strategy, give me the 1, 2, 3. I can make it up here like shush, like whenever I feel like it, because I can do anything, right? But then I started to like realize the way that I was feeling things was like stopping me. Like that whole thing of like I can do anything at any time, that would grind to a halt when I would encounter some kind of trigger. And this was before I could even identify what a trigger was. What the heck is that? Right? But whenever a trigger would come, I literally would not be able to stop spinning and stop
Yeah.
thinking about it and focus on anything else for literally 48 hours, right? That's how I started. It's like, okay, I guess I'm always just going to have trauma that gets triggered. And, out of the 5 days out of my week, and my days are very short. I have 2 kids, right? That the last one leaves in the morning at like 8:30, and the first one to come home is at like 3 o'clock. I don't have that many hours to keep a perfect home and perfect laundry and perfect everything, plus running a business and trying to shoot it up to 7 figures, right? Like I don't have a lot of time. So when you're telling me that there's 2 entire days of that week that I'm not going to be able to use and act and function because somebody said something to me, because I ran into a roadblock that just dysregulated me, right? Like once I met you and I started to put names to the things that I was experiencing, right? Like, oh, I'm dysregulated. Now I knew that it's not just like, oh, I feel nervous, or like, oh, my chest hurts, or like, oh no, I'm dysregulated. Okay, wait a minute. There are techniques to get me out of this. What are the techniques? Okay, it requires like talking about my big trauma, little trauma, tiny t trauma, right? Like, and I want you to talk a little bit about this because I didn't think that I could change, because I had been going to therapy, like regular therapy, for 20 years, and I'm still here and I'm still feeling these things, and these things are still bothering me. So I'm like, okay, so I've just accepted that I'm never going to change, and I'm just going to have to live with these constraints. And here I am, like 2 years later, 2 years after starting to work with you, where now I have names for things that I'm feeling. I understand where those feelings are coming from and why they should or should not impact whatever my next thing is, right? And I'm able to recover from these spinning events way quicker, and to resolve them, right? So that they don't happen again. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about like what you have seen when you work with people like me, right? Who just like have, and we all have a different thing, right? That stops us. For me, it was these like spinning episodes, right? And then this like eagerness to just like destroy and build and destroy and build and destroy and build. They just like that eagerness and not being able to identify what that actually was. So I'd love to hear a little bit from you. Like, what do you see when you hear somebody like me talking about those things? What do you see? What are we talking about?
You know, I love this question because here's the thing. I am. so in that boat. This is exactly what was going on with me before I first started recovering from all of it, right? And it just happens I have a head start on the people that I work with, but I'm always evolving, always learning more about how this all works. But what really unlocks it to me is if you think about guerrilla warfare, right? Not guerrilla. Ooh, ooh.
GUE.
Guerrilla. Guerrilla.
Guerrilla. Yeah.
Guerrilla. GUE. When we talk about guerrilla warfare, if you don't know who's coming after you and you don't know when they're going to hit and you cannot predict it, you are going to lose. So when we have emotional triggers, and you might even not recognize, this is what I see a lot of times is people don't recognize it's an emotional trigger to feel like you must be lazy. They think it's just a thought that is a fact. So I stayed in bed until noon. I must be lazy. I had one client who said if she stayed in bed until past 8 o'clock, that she was a lazy person. And so from where I'm sitting, I'm like, that sounds like a pretty productive person to me, right? But logic doesn't matter because the thing behind her guerrilla warfare that she was experiencing was childhood trauma that said she was only valuable when she was productive, and productivity necessitated getting up at 6 a.m. in her household. So that's what she had to do when she was little. Like it's unacceptable. And she had people telling her it's unacceptable. And she had people saying it's lazy not to do this, da 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 da. Da. So you may have evidence in your childhood of the thing that you're worried about as an adult, right? But it's not a conscious awareness that, oh, this is a trigger that I have because of what I've been through. It's just like, oh, I'm lazy. That's just a thought. So here's the clue. Here's the clue how you can start figuring out who is coming at you with the guerrilla warfare and when it's going to happen. Start listening to the negative self-talk that's in there. And if it's not something you would say to Ina, then it is not something that needs to be said to you. That's how you can tell. If it's not something you would say to someone that you think is amazing, then it's not something that should be being said to you. Even if it's true, because your brain will say it's true. Okay? So that's where we start. Now, in order to predict when it's going to happen, you have to know that when your system perceives a threat, when your nervous system, I could get real nerdy on all this, your amygdala, your vagus nerve, like there are a lot of like, trending things that people know about right now. But the bottom line is it's your survival system when it believes that you are threatened with not getting your needs met. So you're going to be isolated from the tribe. It thinks you're going to get rejected, you're going to get abandoned. Okay, that's a big trigger for every human. If it thinks that you are going to lose your value in the tribe, you are going to get kicked out and eventually abandoned and eaten by a predator. Like it is very extreme with this survival system. So if you can start to understand that when you feel the most vulnerable, that's when these guerrilla warfare things are going to come at you, and it's going to be something that's rooted in a fair amount of evidence from your past. It's going to be rooted in something like, hey, listen, if you didn't get the chocolate sundae on the weekend, if you got a B instead of an A, then you are going to have an embedded neural pathway that says, never good enough, gotta always be better. So what does that do? It sets you up for burnout. It sets you up for like, oh my gosh, I'm working too hard, I'm just going to destroy it and start again. Your system is not going to feel safe in those moments. So when I hear somebody talking about like, oh, I just am a procrastinator, that's my favorite. Please come at me with that. Please come at me with that. Anybody who's listening, anybody who wants to see me really get going on this, come at me with I'm just a procrastinator. Or the even better, I do my best work under pressure. Has anyone ever here like related to this? Do you ever tell yourself like, well, I just procrastinate because I do best under pressure? I mean, I have another client. She was like, yeah, man, I was up until 1:30 in the morning doing my work deadline because I dawdled all day and didn't do the thing that was due the next day until I really felt the fire lit under me. You know what? If you learned again with the drugstore in our minds, if you learned that it's only safe when I limit my time to work on the thing and I don't do my very best, like if you started 2 weeks early, you could really do your really best, right? But then what happens? It makes you vulnerable. It makes you susceptible to judgment at the end. And then what if you did put your best effort in and then you still got judged, abandoned, eaten by a predator? Like this is something the system can't risk. So it will throw everything at you to make it so that you can't possibly be doing your best. You're going to wait till the last second. You're going to need adrenaline to light a fire under you. You're going to need cortisol, like all these drugs in the brain that actually change how you think. Guess what's not good about this process? In that state, That's called dysregulation. In dysregulation, in survival mode, you can't have access to your best thinking because your executive functions, your frontal lobe of your brain actually pauses. You actually cannot think clearly, even though in an emergency you can think like, okay, the very next right thing I need to do is this. But you don't have your full picture working. You don't have your full set of skills working. Have you ever tried to like, if you're really irritated and like one of your kids comes up and like says something to you and you're like, what? It's because your system is on overload in that. No, we've never. I don't know anyone who does that. No, definitely not. We can't relate, but whatever. So it's when your system is in a place where you're experiencing any stress. Has anyone on here ever experienced stress? Never, right?
Welcome to my life. Yes.
Yeah, it's like from
All the
morning till
time.
night. We are stressed the
Right.
whole time. If you are an entrepreneur, you are always on the clock. You are never off the clock, even when you're sleeping. So when you have any kind of stressor, your system goes back to the old defaults that got you the most value, the most worth. And if resting wasn't a part of that equation, you're going to feel lazy every time you do. If getting less than an A plus wasn't an option then, every time that you feel like you've reached a goal, you're going to have another goal. You're not going to have a celebration. It's not going to be a win. You're going to have the next higher goal, the next success. And it's going to be results oriented. You don't get credit for any of your work. It's not a participation trophy. We are here for the gold medal. And the only time that you matter is when they hand it to you and you walk off the stage and you got to go get the next one. It is an
Let me tell
exhausting
you, and let me tell
life.
you how many times in solopreneurship, in business, somebody comes and gives you a medal. Am
That was almost
I,
a spit take.
yeah, am I like, how many times in your business, when you reach this spot, somebody comes knocking on your door and telling you, you are doing an amazing job. That's incredible. Keep going. What? How are you going to get over here? We tend to just pivot, like destroy what we just did, abandon ship, and then get that hit in our brain again. Get like that drugstore in our brain working again to build something new, right? So when we are in this mode in our business, you can see that every time we go up, consider that to be like a drug high. Okay. Every time we're building something new, we are so excited. We just found a new course online that is going to help us so much in our business, right? We are so excited to follow a new methodology and it's working for so many people and it's amazing. But then we always hit a wall when we start to feel like not in alignment with it anymore magically. Why? What is going on? All of that has to do with your ability to self-regulate, to recognize when there is that high that is happening while you're building your business and when there is that plateau. And what we decide to do, because we're people of action, right? We are women of action in our businesses. So if I am not feeling my business, I'm going to make a change right now. And you know what it does? It keeps us stuck when our businesses could be going the distance for real. If we just learn how to self-regulate, how to take care of our own emotions, how to take care of the things that keep us excited, procrastination, FOMO, all of those things, keep them at bay so that we can continue focusing on the growth of our business. So what we were talking about with Elyssa on part one, which is on my profile. So if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to part one, please go back and listen to part one because like it explains the entire thing, like why business is not growing. It's all explained in part one. So right here in part two, because we got so rudely cut off,
Rude.
rude, so rudely cut off. We were just about to talk about how Elyssa, for the first time that I have seen, she's like, yeah, I've run group programs before. I'm like, I've never seen you run a group program. So this is like new to me, okay? For the first time that I'm seeing her run an actual group program is going to be 6 weeks, right? With a small group of women where we are going to work on exactly this. And this is exactly what I'm telling people, that in 2026, if you're gonna work on anything on yourself, focus on your ability to go from this nonsense to this growth, right? What I'm calling right here, like 7-figure heaven, right? It's like actually growing our businesses because we're able to regulate ourselves. So you were about to tell us about the program, and I told everybody, hang tight after she explains the program, because there is one little bonus that I'm throwing in there, which, by the way, I texted you about it. Did you see my text about
Yep.
it? Is it
All good.
okay?
Yeah, all good.
I totally went with it. I
You
didn't
and
check with her.
your illicit program bonuses that you're throwing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like total like illegal program bonuses that I did not check with Elyssa about. She's giving me the literally. This is
Yeah.
like legit.
This is
This is my first time hearing that it's okay.
yeah, this is a thumbs
So
up.
I threw a bonus in there. So let's hear the program from Elyssa, and I'll tell you what my little bonus is. Go.
Okay. So before we were so rudely interrupted, it says you're waving at me. That's really cute. Um, so so what I realized is that I spent the last 5 to 8 years really trying to figure out what are the universal things that work for everyone in order to get the most bang for their buck, as far as like, if I'm going to put in a little bit of effort to get more success, what is that going to look like? Because people come to me, so I'm a trauma informed executive coach, and people are like, I don't really want to do my trauma, it feels like heavy and hard. And yes, working through trauma can be a heavy and hard thing, but that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we are identifying the protector parts in you that are causing you to slow yourself down or to go back down the mountain, right? Instead of heading straight up to seven.
I lost
Oh,
it.
it's gone. It's gone. We don't know where the mountain went. Seven figure heaven is up there somewhere. But instead of heading straight up that mountain, like, listen, I didn't know before I started doing all this work for myself, like, I didn't know that you could just decide what you want to do and then just go do it. I mean, could you imagine if you could just decide, I'm gonna go create a course and then launch it, and this is the date I'm gonna do it, and then you like just go do it, and you don't stop yourself, and you don't get distracted by laundry, and you don't get distracted by somebody else over here who's doing another shiny thing, and you don't get discouraged halfway through your launch process and be like, oh, I'm not gonna really do that and that and that. I'm just gonna kind of wing it. Like, could you imagine? I couldn't imagine that, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And so what I found out, guess what? We can actually rewire the parts of our brains fairly simply. And what studies show that all it takes is 6 weeks to form a habit. 6 weeks. And that's why I wanted to do a 6 week container, because everybody, as of February 1st, man, 63% of people who have set goals for 2026 have already quit. And so that's why we start on February 2nd next week, because I'm like, no, let me revive that for you. And what we're going to be doing in this 6 weeks is really simple, really bite-sized. It's not a heavy lift for any of us, including me, because I am now running my business from a place that is so aligned that this feels easy for me. It feels so easy for me to deliver this program. And I want it to feel easy for every single participant to do the work that's in there. And the question I get the most often is, how do I know it will work for me when I have absolutely sabotaged every other program I've been a part of? Okay, so here's the deal. The way that I approach this, the way that I have combined my training in neuroscience, how the brain works, and in trauma informed stuff, is your nervous system is a little bit like a scared kitten in the bushes. If you come at it and you're like, raw, we're going to do this big change in 2026, it's going to be different, I swear, and it's going to be amazing and huge, and I'm going to be so successful, we got 7 figures coming next year. If you go at it like, what is the kitten doing? The kitten is back in the bushes, guys. Like, the kitten is back in the bushes. I'm a kitten tamer. I come into the scene and I say, no, no, no. We just put food out for the kitten. We just, and then when the kitten's used to eating the food, then we go out and we sit with our back toward the kitten next to the food so that the kitten gets used to our presence. Okay, there's a process to taming your nervous system.
I need to say something here because I've been through this process with you. And this is what we Elyssa's clients call the magic of Elyssa.
That has caught on.
Yeah, because the way that you work, like what you're explaining right now, like just putting the food out for the kitten, your process is so gentle, right? And so validating, and so helping us be so understanding of ourselves, right? That it creates so much safety that it almost makes you not need the defenses
Yeah.
anymore. It's magical. It's wild how it works. That
And it's just the science. That's the thing. And what I did, the only thing that I've done differently than every other person that's gone before me is I knew what wasn't working. And I pulled different things from trauma stuff, different things from neuroscience stuff, and different things from being the responsible daughter for my whole damn life. And figuring out exactly what it takes to gently coax your system out of protection mode. Have you heard of the I feel like I'm having deja vu. Have we talked about this before? The analogy of like the sun and the or the little story. It's an anyway, there's a word for what this is. But the sun and the cloud are having a contest to see who can get the man who's walking on the sidewalk to take his jacket off first.
I've
And
heard
the
of.
cloud goes first and it blows wind at him and it blows and it's like I'm going to blow this jacket off of him and take it, I'm going to take home the win. He thinks it's such an easy win, and the harder the wind blows, the more the man grabs the jacket, right? And then the cloud is like done. It's like I've got nothing. It's like out of breath. And the sun comes out and it shines and the man takes off the jacket. The jacket is the protective stuff that we do to keep ourselves safe, valuable, have worth, successful, stay results oriented, go for the gold medal every time instead of giving ourselves credit for showing up at practice. When you live like that, you are living the cloud wind way. You are just trying to blow everything you got at this and you're going to knock the socks off the success. But your protective mechanisms, your procrastination, your perfectionism, your people pleasing, your imposter syndrome, everything that keeps you playing small holds on tighter. And so the methods that we do inside this 6 week container is all the stuff that has actually worked for my one-to-one clients, but that is the equivalent of the sun melting away the need for that jacket of self-sabotage.
And for somebody who has gone through it, it works, and it is like magic. It's like after sessions with you, like I needed to like step away from doing any kind of this sort of work for like a month, because there was so much that I felt like like needed to be like accustomed and processed, because everything just changed. It like shifted, and it would take like my defenses would be up and then they would just drop, and I'm like, where did that go? Like I just totally changed my own mind about how I'm going to approach this in just one conversation, because of the gentle techniques that you use. And I know it's so hard to understand unless you go through it, but I guess what I have to say to anybody who is, listening to this and like, maybe this is something that I should really look into, I would say, number one, DM Elyssa, DM me, reply to my email, like ask me questions, because if there was one thing that I wish I knew that it was important on year one of my business, I wish somebody had explained this. I wish somebody had shared this with me and told me,
Yeah.
listen, it is not about how hard you work. It's not about the right strategy or the wrong strategy or how much money or whether you have a good, better, best money goal. It's not about any of that. If you can't get a grip, right, on your own patterns of self sabotage, of not being able to regulate your emotions when something happens. Sometimes for some of us, that like dysregulation happens when we succeed, and for some of us it happens when we fail, right? Either way, it makes us reconsider, rethink, shift, change. And when we do that, we're not doing this. We just continuously stay down here, living off of our mental drugs and telling ourselves that it's okay, because this little part here makes us so happy that it's totally worth it. And look at us down here in low revenue stream,
Hmm.
right? We all
Yeah.
deserve to be up here, and we all have the tools for that. And I was actually, I want to share this, share more information about your program with everybody. So if anybody would please, if you can say the website out loud, but if anybody just
Yeah.
puts in the comments of this video, if you just put, um, let's just like a really cool word. What did we just say?
Regulated. I don't know.
Regulate. Do people know how to spell People know how to spell
I don't
regulate,
know.
right?
Yeah.
There is no ambiguity with that word. There's no ambiguity with that word. Anyway, the like comment below, regulated, right? I will personally send you over DM and I'll make myself available for questions. But you can tell us the website name, tell us where to go find that more information, because I was actually really surprised about the price. You don't have to mention the price right here. I'd rather it was, people who are like really considering this, go to the website, learn more about the program, check out the price, check out the payment plans. But I'm just going to tell everybody, I like Elyssa is a freaking superstar that like her higher level programs are high ticket programs. So the fact that she's making all of these 7-figure tools available to mortals like us, like I was very surprised at the price, is what I'm saying. So I want everybody to be just as pleasantly surprised as I was. So please tell everybody where to go and find out more information about it, because it's totally doable. And I'll tell everybody what my bonus is.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, so the website is easy. You can just go to ElyssaSmith.com. So if you can see my name here, Elyssa C. Smith is my handle, but ElyssaSmith.com is my website / regulated, REGULATED. So that's the easiest place to find all the info.
Okay. And we start on February 2nd. And I'm going to tell you my bonus, which I got just like Elyssa just cleared it like for me, because I'm like, I realized today, I'm like, I offered this bonus and I did not clear that with you. So in the program, you are going to get limited access on Voxer, which is voice note access to Elyssa. And I'm going to tell you why it's limited. Number one, it's going to stay very focused. Number two, just any voice messages that you get from Elyssa are just going to be gold. Like that's what you're going to need. It's just like that gold, because that's just the magic of Elyssa. You're going to get to experience that. But because it is limited, because it is a 6-week program, what we're going to do is I'm going to create a Voxer group with anybody who signs up because you saw this video, because you're on my mailing list. We're going to have our own superhuman Voxer group where we can support each other through this. Now, I have been in Elyssa's programs and in Elyssa's like mind for the past 2 years, and I have been through so much, and I feel like those Voxers are going to be super helpful for us to help each other out through the program as a community. And that's Voxer is basically where I keep in touch with all of my entrepreneur friends anyway. So like I can't wait to meet more women. This is a program for women, all right, only women. And I can't wait, because women who are ready to do this kind of work, it's like they're my people, right? I want to hear from more women that they are prioritizing their mental health, their ability to regulate that they actually want to solve this problem for themselves once and for all. Those are my people. That's my jam. Those are people that I want to be on Voxer with. So that's my bonus that I'm adding for anybody who signs up. Coming through here. So just like shout me out. Just tell me like, hey, Ina, because I saw this video, because I got your email, because I got your DM, I decided to sign up, and that would be awesome. I'm going to add you to my Voxer group, and we're going to go through the program together. I'm not an administrator in the group. I am not an assistant in the group. I'm not working I'm paying for this program. Okay. I'm an attendee. I'm paying for this program, and I want us all to do this together. So we're going to get to talk about all of our blocks and really make 2026 the most unique experience, right? Like 2026 is going to be the year that we really solve this problem. So Elyssa, I want to thank you so much, because I literally just told you today, I'm going to go live to talk about you. Like if you're around, by the way. And you're like, of course I'm around.
Of course
So
I am.
thank you so much for coming and sharing this with everybody, because I really believe this is like magic, and it's so hard to understand when we're starting our businesses that this is really going to be a thing, that this is really going to be something
Yeah.
that's important. We don't know that until we're 8 years into it and realizing that, oh, I've just been following this really self-sabotaging uh, pattern for years, and I'm ready to break out of it, and I'm ready for 2026 to be different, and I'm already thinking 2027. I already know that I am done with this situation. I'm already preparing for this, and it's scary. It's a completely different world, but that's the track that I'm on. I'm on the chair lift, on the sky lift. What is this called?
Ski lift. Yes.
I'm on the ski lift up. I'm not on the roller coaster anymore. So
No, that's great. And I
any
just want to
final
say, I
words?
want to close with one more idea. For anybody who is tired of their procrastination and perfectionism and tired of like getting stuck and you know what to do, but you're not doing it. I didn't know before I started learning about the stuff we're going to be doing in this six, and it's small stuff, ladies. It is small. Like these are little things that don't feel like they're going to make a difference until you try it, and then you're never the same. It's like that thing where you learn something and you can never remember what it was like to not know it. That's what this 6 weeks will be like. But I couldn't understand. Like everyone's like, oh, like work on yourself, inner work, blah blah blah. And I was just like, can someone just give me a formula? And while there's no one size fits all formula, there are actual practical steps. It's not just like we're just gonna meditate and love ourselves. Because I was like, I will punch your
No,
meditation in the
I
face. Like
don't
I'm
do
not.
no. There is no I don't do meditation. That's not what this is. If anybody
No,
got the impression that that's what we're talking about, it
no,
is
but it's
not.
like everyone kind of like shoves that stuff down your throat. And I do meditate. I love meditation. I do self-care. I love it. It's good. But I thought all that stuff was so dumb in the beginning. And what we're doing in this program is not that stuff. We are actually walking through practical steps. Like in the calls, I'm going to be like, okay, now do this. Okay, now do this. And now do this. And write this out. And we're not going to have homework in between calls. It's like we're just doing the work, and it's going to be small, sustainable steps that are so practical, you're going to be shocked.
Yeah, I I can't wait. I can't wait, and I feel like this is something that we all need at every level. Like I've
Yep.
already worked with you for 2 years, and I always have that next level to unlock. Right? There's that the work is like never done. There's always another thing that we can unblock, another thing that we can unblock. And
And
I'm
it's
looking forward
fun.
to that. I'm looking
That's
forward
the
to that.
thing. It's not like, oh, there's like for me, if I'm thinking like, oh, it's never done, like I used to panic about that, right? But the work that I'm doing on myself from everything that I teach, it's like, oh, like what can we do this time? Oh my
You
gosh, like
want
okay, I have a
to.
higher level view of this time. And you just it's like really exciting. It's kind of like a game at this point. Like, how could I eliminate that? Like, what can we do?
Because exactly, because it's not like, and to your point, when I say that like this keeps going, it doesn't mean that you're still working on the same things as the beginning. It's like literally you're clearing stages like a video game. the thing
Yes.
the thing that was worrying me 2 years ago when we started is not the same. Like, I'm done. I cleared the stage. I probably don't even know what that thing was. Right? I have a new one now that we go and we clear it and we unblock it, and we're in a brand new space. Like, my life, my professional life, my business relationship, my personal relationships, my relationship with my husband, Elyssa knows all of the dirty details of that situation, and she understands, like, my relationship with my husband has never been stronger. We have been together for 23 years at this point, right? 23 years together, and we're more in love now than we ever have been. And she knows all of that. And I'm telling you, that is all directly related to me figuring this stuff out, right? There's always a new stage to clear that I wouldn't have been ready to clear 5 years ago. And it's always like you always have a new level, right? And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's what it
And
is.
new rewards and new
New
joy
rewards.
and new fun.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming and talking to me
Thank you
about
for
all of this.
having me.
Anybody who wants to hear about the program, I can send you the link. You don't have to remember it. It's Elyssa Smith, exactly the way that you spell her name. ElyssaSmith.com/regulated. You can also type regulated in the comments and I'll just send you the link. It might be easier. I'm also going to add it to my link in bio, my link tree. Okay. So that if you go to my link in bio, right there in my link tree, I'm going to give it a different color, and I'm gonna be like, boom, like the Elyssa regulated program is right here, so you can go straight to that link. If you do sign up, you gotta let me know so I can add you to my superhuman Voxer group, so we can all talk about Elyssa behind her back, right? We can
Yes.
all work on the stuff together as we all go through the program together. Okay. So that's it. That's what I had for everybody. So type regulated for more information or go to my link in bio. And thank you so much, Elyssa, for putting this out in the universe. I just wish this was something that I knew about, I was aware of, and I knew that I needed as much as I did on day one.
Yes, me too. And I think by offering this, it's kind of like my my apology to all of us who didn't get this sooner. I'm like, let me fast forward you through the steps. That's what this is. So I hope that we will get to see everybody in here because it's going to be incredible. Also, this is my office manager back here. She is going to be leading
Mika,
some of the sessions.
so cute. Mika is so cute. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you all go. I need to go pick up my husband from the train station because he's been texting me, and I'm like, I love you, love you. Thank you so much, Elyssa.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so
everybody.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye.